Hare Krishna. So thank you all for participating. That was really sweet. So I just wanted to say a few words about this whole process. As I was saying earlier, this whole process is called a mantra. And in Sanskrit, man, that's a root, and that root is the root on which manas, meaning mind, and of course it's the cognate of our modern English word mind. So man, manas, mind, this is all a word, and it refers to the mind, of course. And the word tra comes from the Sanskrit root or word trayate, which means to deliver. So mantras are supposed to deliver the mind. Now, what exactly are we delivering the mind from? And the answer is that we're delivering the mind from its endless wandering. So many of you are a little on the older side here, not as ancient as me, but up there. So I'm sure that after a while you get the sense, you begin to be aware of the fact that there are endless things to divert yourself into in this world. It's like a big labyrinth, like being underground in a cave, and some dead ends, and then some go a little further, and then dead end, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole world is like a big maze or a big labyrinth. And it's also very mysterious. And it's also constantly changing. So everything is shifting around. And it's designed, this material world, it is like a virtual reality in some ways. It's designed so that we can go on from year after year, decade after decade, lifetime after lifetime, checking out things. You know, it's like a carnival ride where you can try this ride and that ride and some other ride and some other ride. We go from one thing to another. And this constantly going from one thing to another is the business of most human beings. And at some time, usually in everybody's life, maybe it doesn't happen very often, or maybe it doesn't happen and doesn't really go anywhere, but we come to this understanding, or we come to this concept at least, of why am I just noodling around through all these different possibilities? Is there something actually at the basis of it all? Is there something that I can root myself to? Like we were talking about, the mind being like a boat on the open water, especially in a stormy ocean. You know, in a stormy ocean, the boat gets tossed this way and that way, and then some other way, and then some other way. We have no idea, are we close to land? Are we not close to land? Is there a hurricane on the horizon? Will I get sunk? Et cetera, et cetera. So this is the nature of the mind. It's turbulent, obstinate, very difficult to control. We find out in Bhagavad Gita. We find that the mind is like the raging wind. It just goes from one thing to another. And oftentimes people have the misconception that we are the mind, but if we were the mind, there would be no question of the mind not doing what we want it to do, because we'd be identical with it. But the fact is, we are not the mind. The mind is a thing of itself. Now, there's no doubt we have input into the mind, and there's no doubt that it affects us. But there's kind of like a dog and its owner walking down the street. Some of you are dog owners, or Katie, or Casey, or Stacy is actually a dog owner too. So dogs have a mind of their own, and they jump from one thing to another. And so we try to keep them under control. And it's similar with our mind. So a mind is our best friend or our worst enemy, depending on whether we can gain some control over it. And so that's the idea of mantra, and that's the idea of anchoring the mind to something. And the one thing that can be an anchor point for something as nebulous, from something as ferocious, something as wild as the mind, the one thing that can be an anchor for it is a mantra. And this mantra is names of God. And this is a mantra that comes from the Sanskrit tradition, but there are mantras that come from other traditions, as we were discussing earlier. The Catholic tradition has the Rosary, and there's also the Jesus have mercy on me mantra, which is usually or was recited in Latin, Christe eleison, There's also the mantra from the Eastern Orthodox tradition, which is called the Jesus Prayer. In Islam, there is the 99 names of Allah. This whole concept is the same. We are not just doing some kind of mindless repetition. We're trying to focus the mind through sound. And believe it or not, sound is efficacious. It can actually change your life. And because you are directly petitioning God, He's moving the chess pieces in your life. And He can change things in a way that helps you to become more devoted. So we are actually asking for service. We're actually asking to become servants of God. And that is something that most of the religions kind of toss out there every once in a while. But being a servant of God is not an easy thing, because instead of serving God, we have 1,000,001 carnival rides we want to try out yet. We want to go here, we want to try that, we want to meditate on this, we want to check this out, and this can go on forever. So this world is like a huge ocean of distractions, and we learn how gradually to reel in those distractions. And we gradually learn that none of those endeavors that we have made in our past or are making now are going to give us any anchor point or give us any final stability. The only thing that gives final stability is gradually learning how to love God, how to give your life to God, how to help other people to understand God. And you may be successful, you may not be successful, and that doesn't matter. The fact that you're doing it is the process we call bhakti, or the yoga of devotion. We're trying to learn how to focus our lives, focus our heart, focus our mind on God. And the best way to do that is through sound vibration. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, in 3rd chapter, verse 51, we have Kalar doshe nidhe rajan asti eko mahadgunan Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha parambrajet. Now, this 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavatam is divided into cantos, and those cantos are not like chapters, they're like whole books in themselves. So the Bhagavad Gita that you may have heard of has 700 verses. The Srimad Bhagavatam, by contrast, has 18,000 verses, so it's much bigger. And each canto is like a whole book in itself. And so the 12th canto deals with the future. And particularly it deals with our present, but when it was written, the future, because it was written 5,000 years ago, but it's talking about the present that we ourselves live in today and surpasses our present date into the distant future. It even talks about the further in the future than we are. And so there was a king, and this king learned that he would die in 7 days. There was a curse pronounced upon him. And he knew that he would die soon. He had a week left to live. And he was powerful. He could have tried to counteract the curse, but he accepted that it was because of something that he had done that he felt himself guilty of. So he didn't try to counteract the curse. Instead, he accepted it, and he fasted on the bank of the Ganges up until the time he was going to die. And one great sage came and began to explain to him what we now call the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so he explained 11 cantos. So there's 12 cantos in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we're kind of at the end of the book. And so he's describing to this king, King Parikshit, that yes, you are a king, and in the future there'll be future kings. And it describes the kings that would follow after Parikit, the ones that would be his successors. And then it goes on up until about our time period. And then the narration of the sage, whose name was Sukadev Goswami, the sage, said, there's no use talking about the kings after this point. They have no good qualities, and they are not worth discussing. So he drops the conversation on explaining future kings. That's around our time period, that's when he, kind of caps it off it that way. And then he explains that Mother Earth, the Earth planet itself, has a deity. That Mother Bhumi, she is the custodian of the Earth planet. And so, all through culture we have this idea of Mother Earth, or Mother Nature. It's the same being, that she explains that there will be future kings, and these kings will be mostly roguish, and they won't have any qualities, and they will all be obsessed with possessing her, but none of them will be able to do it. None of them will be able to possess her. And she says, actually, in the age of Kali Yuga, these kings will strive with all their might, and they will always think, how can I control the entire Earth planet? And how can I place its future control under my descendants so that people who are my children will manage the Earth the way I am managing it now? That's what they will think. But in no case will they ever actually be able to conquer the Earth. And in the future, however powerful they imagine themselves to be, they will be reduced, as it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, to a name in a list of names. So that's the future of every political leader. You will be reduced to a name in a list of names. So this is a description it gives in the 12th canto. Then it says, in the age of Kali Yuga, because people will become more and more impious, that gradually the earth and all the demigods, all the people who are managing the universe, will withhold good things from the planet and from the people of the planet. It'll become much, much worse. And so this age will have like every possible fault you could imagine. So it describes that there are 4 ages: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. We are now living in Kali Yuga, which is the 4th age. It's the worst of all the ages. And it says this verse, Kalar doshe nidhe rajan asti eko mahadgunad Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. That in this age of Kali, Kalir dosha nidhe. So Kalir means Kali Yuga, doshe nidhe. So dosha is fault, nidhe is ocean. So this age is an ocean of faults. Kalir dosha nidhe rajan. Rajan is king. So she's speaking to the king that we were just talking about. Kalar dosha nidhe rajan. Asti, there is, eko, one, mahadguna, good quality. So although the age of Kali Yuga is mostly decadent and mostly antagonistic to all good things, all good qualities, although it's mostly like that, it has one shining, outstanding quality that no one can ever, that can override all the pernicious and negative effects of this age of Kali Yuga, and that is Kalar dosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahadgunan, so one great quality. Kirtana deva krishnasya, so kirtan eva, certainly, kirtanad eva krishnasya, about Krishna, Krishna deva krishnasya mukta sangha, can deliver one from the bad effects of this age of Kali Yuga. This alone can deliver one from the bad effects. So this verse is quoting that process. There are many spiritual processes, and in the Vedas they're all listed in so many ways. And in the following verse, 12 canto, 3rd chapter, verse 52, following verse says that there are 4 processes in 4 ages. So, Kritaya Dhyayato Vishnum, Tretayam Yajato Makai, Dwapare Paricharyayam, Kalar Yadhari Kirtana. So, in the age of Satya Yuga, which is the best of all ages, in the best of all ages, the process was meditation. So many people have heard about meditation. Meditation is tied to, you guessed it, the yoga system. So the yoga system was originally tied to finally the dhyan or samadhi level, which is where people would meditate. Then that's in Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, the best of the 4 yugas. Then there's Kritaya Dhyayato Vishnu, Dwapare, Tretayam Yajato Makai. In Treta Yuga, there was sacrifices. People used to perform very elaborate sacrifices where you had a fire, you would light the fire, you would pour clarified butter or ghee in it, the fire would ignite, and they would chant mantras. These mantras had many incantations glorifying the Supreme Lord and others. Then Dwapare Paricharyam. In the Dwapara Yuga, people used to engage in worshiping deities, particularly the deity of Krishna and Radharani, or sometimes various other Vishnu forms. So these are the Supreme Lord. People would worship those. That was what was done in Dwapara Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, all this can be accomplished simply by chanting the holy name. Kritaya Dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam Yajato Makai, Dwapare Paricharyayam, Kalar Yadhari Kirtana. So in Kali Yuga, Yadhari, the best way is Hare Kirtana, chanting the holy name of Hare or Krishna. So this is why we do this. We can do it, as we've been discussing, musically, or we can do it non-musically. Today I don't want to spend time doing it non-musically. We will do it sometimes, but there is a process we call japa where you chant Hare Krishna, but you do it without music. You just chant Hare Krishna. Some of you are already doing it, so all glories. Thank you very much. The process is calling out to God. We're asking God to gradually purify us, to allow us to become His servants, to allow us to become less distracted by this sea, this labyrinth, this endless world of distractions. So we can be distracted by so many things. And we are helpless. Even if we know, even if we're committed to it, we're still distracted by so many other things. So by chanting and coming together and learning how to do service, little by little, day by day, grain by grain, we become less distracted, we become more focused, and we begin to realize that the only game in town is learning how to serve God. And that's what we're trying to do. So people are doing it in other religions. This is how we explain it in the Vedic tradition. And there's much more detail and much more technology involved, how to do it and have it be effective. All right. So I'm going to stop there. Anyone have any questions? You can ask now or you can ask when we break, for prasadam. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? I know it always seems daunting. You don't want to be the person to ask a question. People, oh, what a stupid question. No, there's not stupid questions. But if you have something that you're interested in understanding about what we've just discussed, we can discuss it then a little bit later on. So I would like to now